Okay, I can get started. Welcome everybody. This is the Network of Networks stakeholder meeting, the last for 2021. And welcome, we've got a fair bit of information to cover for you. So I think we will get started. It is being recorded, so anybody who needs to go back and look at it, they can. Our hosts today are Lisa Johnston and myself. So Lisa, maybe give us a quick wave because I see you are on mute. And so we're going to go through some of the updates for the Network of Networks. Next, please. Next, please. Go on. And here are the hosts. You'll notice I have long COVID hair now, not short hair. We'll have to get you an updated picture there, Shelley. Please forward. Just please keep your self on mute unless you have a question. There is a Q&A and a chat function that you can ask questions at. Okay, so the board. As a member of the board, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of some of the things that are happening. Next, please. We have the second annual Paddi O'Hara Lecture Award. The deadline is December 1st, I believe, and the person who is successful at this lecture award will be invited to present at the annual meeting in February. So if you have ideas, please bring them forward. Paddi was a huge contributor to education in our field across Canada and in clinical trials research. And we would love to have a bunch of people send in ideas. We would love to have a really, really engaging and interesting lecture at our annual meeting. So keep an eye out for that. If you have questions, contact the N2 office for any details or the website. Next. And a big thank you. I'm going to give you just a few operations updates here. Big thank you to Dawn Richards. Her last day was September 30th. Dawn was the business development manager, and she is moving on to other opportunities. She is, however, also helping us with the N2 annual meeting coming for February. So we still have the privilege of getting to work with her, but a huge thank you to her. She's done an absolutely enormous job of helping N2 move forward. We also have some other HR news to fill you in. We've been working with a consultant and looking at positions within N2, what's needed, what are we going to be doing? We actually are hiring an executive director. The shortlist is prepared and is moving forward. So hopefully we'll have an announcement on that one soon. And that will provide us, I think we're large enough now that this will provide some leadership to the entire organization moving things forward. So we're very excited about that. And then also just looking at all the positions within N2 and how we manage responsibly. A quick update on membership. So we are welcoming 12 new partners this year in 2021, and they're listed here. If you are on this meeting, we welcome you and we hope that you ask questions and look for the resources that you might need to do the work at your institutions. There are lots of people who'd be more than willing to reach out and help you as well. So welcome and thank you for joining us. We've now reached a total of 163 members. So it's a very large and very strong organization in terms of its reach, its capacity, its reliance on expertise. It's an enormous group of people that actually have one goal of making clinical trials better in this country. So congratulations to everybody. And I think our growth, with the board and developing positions and a leadership position speaks to this partnership and this moving forward with such a large group of people. Next. Oh, there was actually, I don't know if there is one here. There's only one other thing, and that is save the date. February 1, 2, and 3 will be our virtual annual meeting, and you'll be seeing lots of information coming out. So just a shout out to that, save the date. We will also be starting our 2022-2023 budget process at the board level. So That's what we're up to. And now I'll pass you on to Shelley for some committee updates.
Great, thanks, Kathy. Next slide. So the quality committee, I'm just going to do a brief update on all the committees so we can get to the survey results. So the quality committee is run by Sasha and Tracy. They did the cannabis tools for individual license development, roles and responsibilities guidance, cannabis application checklist, the monitoring auditing checklist, and sources of information for cannabis research in Canada. Now, we previously sent out an announcement about these great tools that were created by the quality committee. To access these tools, you log into the N2 website and use your N2 guest username and password. And then you go to the compliance and quality tools folder. Now, if you have any issues with accessing these or any other tools, please contact me and I can assist you. And we do have other projects in progress, including an FAQ repository, an e-consent guidance, and a hybrid/virtual inspection tool. So stay tuned. Once these tools are completed and uploaded to Box, we will share an announcement with everyone on how to get to them. Next slide. The Clinical Trials Education and Awareness Committee is chaired by Daniela Bianco. They're working on the how-to webinar series. They're planning the final webinar of the 3-part series on the how to launch N2 Ask Me campaign at your institution. So watch for some more details coming late this year or early next year. They also are working on the update on the pediatric resources for clinical trials in Canada. The panel presentation at SOCRA was held in September and it was well received. They got great feedback and ideas to build on. They had the complimentary e-activity booklet draft developed and are in the final stages, aiming to have this completed early next year. And they had the video submission to the CIHR annual IHDCYH 2021 talks competition. And we're just awaiting notice of the outcome to see if possibly they won. They developed the comprehensive marketing toolkit to help N2 members use and promote the participators video and e-activity booklet within their organizations. And they're exploring the development of independent websites similar to It Starts With Me that will be available in both English and French. Also in the works is the patient engagement work, the guide on remuneration, compensation of patient engagement partners, which was approved by the N2 board to adopt as a new policy resource. And we'll put that into an N2 template. They're building a patient engagement advocacy, public awareness interface to educate, encourage, and evaluate patient partner opportunities and involvement in research. And on the horizon, they're finalizing their operational plan for discussion and approval at the November meeting, which will consist of ongoing work in patient engagement, public awareness space, the development of new metrics, analytics program for CTEA initiatives, and the creation of a national awareness campaign repository to leverage awareness of N2 and the use and promotion of CTEA resources and toolkits. So the SOP and the REB SOP committee are in a bit of a hiatus. This is the off year for the N2 SOPs. So we continue to collect any comments or feedback that are received from any of our N2 members with regards to the SOPs. So if you have any questions or require access to the SOPs, again, contact me and I can help you. So the Education and Training Committee is chaired by Leslie and Jasmine. They continue to review and update. There's questions about the new courses that they would like to create and house on City Canada. So they're looking at the next steps and which courses they'd like to create. And the French translation, N2 received a small amount of funding from Heritage Canada to translate some of the courses. The goal is to use this funding to translate the base membership courses and looking to translate the courses in the future. So the clinical research coordinator course is the first course that we're going to use in this translation bucket, I guess you'd call it. It was sent to the translator and is expected to be translated by the end of the month. It will then be forwarded to CITI for upload, and we will send out a formal announcement to all of our members with the CITI Canada form for the course for those sites that wish to purchase access. So again, the cost for the French course will be the same as the English CRC course, which will be $765 plus tax for annual site usage. Next slide. The communication committee is chaired by Rachel Syme, and this committee continues to support all areas of N2 with information. They communicate both internally and externally to our members. Special initiatives include supporting the development of N2 membership survey, which was released in the summer, which we'll be discussing in a few minutes, and taking the feedback from the survey to implement updates to the N2 website and other communication methods. And this is just a list of our different communication tools that we have: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and our website. And again, to back up what Kathy had said, make sure you save the date, February 1st, 2nd, and 3rd for our N2 annual conference. Again, will be virtual. It will be the same platform that we used last year. They've made a few tweaks and have listened to concerns that we had last year with regards to the networking tables, being able to see who is at the table prior to joining it. So just so you guys know, we have changed that, and that will be an option that will be available to everyone. And we will be sending out more communication with regards to topics that we will have, presentations, and the times during those days. So watch your email, it will be coming. So a quick update on our website. Again, to access the resources, you click on the top right, use your member login and password, and that's how you can access the resources, tools, standard operating procedures, etc. on our website. If you have issues or forgot your password, please contact me and I can help you access the resources. And the CITI courses. So again, I have communication with all of the admins at each site. They were provided a CITI Canada order form that is filled out and sent back to me. After review, I submit the form to CITI so that the sites can allow their learners to access the courses that they want their learners to complete. The important thing to remember is if you have an administrator at your site, you can have more than one. And it's a good idea because we have some sites who have the main administrator leaves the site for another job or whatever, and then they're kind of up in the air on how to access the tools. So make sure that if you would like to add another administrator, contact me and I can get more than one person added. It's really important just to make sure that we have the communication going both ways, because we do have sites that have turnover in staff, and that can affect the CITI Canada courses. And now I will pass it over to Lisa, and Lisa and Kathy are going to walk you through the results from our membership survey from this past summer.
Thanks, Shelley. And hello from Ottawa. We had a bit of snow last night, so our first snowfall, and a little too early for my taste, but we have to go with the flow. We've all learned that from COVID. Anyways, so today I will be providing an overview of the results of the N2 membership survey, which went out at the end of June and it closed mid-August. Now I'm going to come off video because I'm already getting warnings that my internet is not stable, so I don't want to freeze on you. Okay, So this slide is really looking, providing an overview of the survey. We had 100 responses, and as you can see, 82 responded in English and 18 in French. I want to thank everyone who responded, as these survey results help us with planning for 2022. And when we look at who responded to the survey, 60% of the responders were N2 member representatives, and 48% were N2 committee members, whether present and past. When we look at where our responder organizations are from, 38% Ontario, 27% British Columbia, 18% from Quebec, 13% Alberta, 2% Saskatchewan, and 2% New Brunswick. And when we look at what best describes the industry the organizations represented, 37% was from hospitals, 25% academic institutions, 17% research network, 8% health authority or region, 7% small for-profit, and 2% for large for-profit organizations, and 2% government. Okay, so when we look at member benefits, and we're asking our organizations, what was the biggest benefit being a member of N2? And 85% picked tools, resources as their top one reason. So their number one reason. 49% picked educational opportunities beyond CITI as their second reason. And 42% picked opportunities for personal growth and development as their third reason. And 54% picked networking as their fourth reason. So they also asked, what other benefits do you get from your N2 membership that wasn't listed? And there were top 4 key themes were committee work. So the learning and networking opportunities that you get from participating in a committee, as well as working to develop new tools. Relationships with Health Canada and other policymakers was another benefit. Access to training on a larger scale for a large organization. And then networking opportunities with multi-sector organizations such as regulators, industry, research ethics boards, and universities. So we'll tease this out a little bit more, and we noted that interactions with Health Canada are highly valuable to our member organizations. So what we're looking at is maintaining our current relationship with Health Canada. We offer webinars and presentations at N2 conferences that Health Canada is part of. And then looking at other ways that Health Canada might be able to gain value, or our N2 members can gain value from increased interactions. So when we asked, what could N2 do to improve its members' experiences? The top responses were 24% chose provide more learning opportunities such as webinars and seminars. 23% said to create and provide new tools and resources for members, and 14% mentorship opportunities. So when we look at mentorship, it is an emerging and important theme to our members. We can learn from Cara about their mentorship program. Sarah Lamson discussed it at the Stakeholder webinar in August. And so, you know, if you wanted to go back to take a look at that, that's to see what was shared at that webinar. We are also looking at putting together some potential actions to increase specific mentorship activities within N2. So we always look to how to we can engage our membership better. So we asked our responders to describe what learning opportunities or ways to engage them would they like to include with their membership. And there were some key things that really stood out. Looking at clearer communication regarding tool rollout, webinars to provide more information about tools and resources, and webinar access, so more selection of webinars, updates on regular changes and processes as well. So looking also at more educational opportunities for research coordinators and coursework, and more opportunities to talk with other members, multiple stakeholders in various industries, such as industry, regulators, clinicians, etc. So one suggestion was a more coffee break, cooler style conversation with peers across the country. Okay. So looking at what tools and resources that are used by our N2 members, the most one that is used the most, of course, is our educational courses. 28% selected that, followed by our N2 SOPs at 25%, and then tools from the quality committee at 14%, N2 REB SOPs 13%, tools from our clinical trials education and awareness committee at 12%, and then the permission to contact toolkit at 6%. So what's a surprise for us is that the quality management tools are potentially not as well known as they could or should be. And we need to look at how best to inform our members of the work with our quality committee to develop some communication approaches about their tools. So thinking about conducting webinars like the Clinical Trials Education and Awareness Committee have hosted, and presentations at stakeholder meetings. So to really provide that awareness about these great tools that this committee provides. So next, we're going to look at how we access tools and resources. And the first thing we did ask is the online login process to access N2 tools and resources. Is this straightforward? 63% selected yes, 34% selected no. And Shelley just took us through a quick lesson on how to access this. And then looking at responses to how easy it is to access N2 tools and resources that are in box.com, which is the platform that we use at N2. 33% felt it was easy or somewhat easy. 23% felt it was neither easy or hard. And 44% felt it was somewhat hard or could not find resources. So almost half the survey respondents said it was hard, somewhat hard, or they couldn't find the resources they were looking for in Box. And so this is definitely something we need to look into. So the operation team plans to revamp the landing page to the login and potentially have new resources section on the side, and either removing or updating the events calendar. Continuing on with accessing tools and resources, this slide really looks at specific challenges with accessing tools and resources from Box.com. So what were the particular challenges? Well, some didn't know we use Box. We've had others finding it a challenge to look and find the resources, navigating problems. It's hard to locate documents, password login problems, the firewall problems, browser problems, search capabilities are poor. And one suggestion was to provide a live demonstration for how to use the software. So hopefully there won't be the same challenges. So recognizing that Box is an issue for some of our members, either accessing it because of firewall issues or for other reasons, the operations team is looking at spending time looking for solutions such as sourcing other software tools for members. And perhaps keeping Box as the backbone for the operations files, but N2 should be responsive to our members' needs and at least explore new options. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we have these surveys, to get your input and feedback. So what specific tools N2 should offer? So we've had a number of suggestions, such as roles and responsibilities to CITE's guidance on digital health and e-signature, budget and financial tools, training videos, templates, research coordination, information on validation. And I think ensuring we're updating our older tools. the suggestion for project management tools, case examples, tools sharing boxes, so looking at what other sites use, more quality management tools, and a central location for the SOPs. 26% who completed the survey felt they need help with communicating about N2 tools and resources. And what would help with that is looking at detailed brochure or one-pager material outlining N2 tools and resources, templated wording to share within your organizations, and videos and guides featuring N2 tools and resources. So how we best can get the information out to your organization. So with lots of great ideas that were given, these were shared with the committee chairs in a meeting in October with the operations team. And so the chairs can discuss what might be underway, which committee might want to incorporate this into working plans for 2022. So these really help the committees look at what are the needs of our members and what we need to look at and how to start planning and seeing if we can incorporate this in some of the plans. So when we look at specifically about the tools that N2 should offer, there is an openness from members to N2 to be building relationships with other organizations, companies that benefit its own members. So there's just discuss ways that organizations like ACRP and SOCRA might benefit from working with N2 to offer all members benefits in 2022. So we're just always looking at how we can work together with people doing similar things as us and how we best communicate what's going on. So we also asked which courses would you or your organization find helpful if they were translated? And the number one was 25% for the clinical research coordinator. And Shelley shared that that's already been translated and will be hopefully up shortly for people to have access to. And because we have 32% of the survey responders say they access educational resources in French. So this is something we are really looking at. Sorry. And it really helps us prioritize what order we need to translate the courses, because there's a number of the courses, but we're looking for, also at the base membership courses. And one of the courses is the RCR mega course and transportation of dangerous goods. So they're part of our base membership courses. And then we'll look at the other courses as they come along. So the next few slides are dealing with questions about the N2 website. Looking at how often do you go to the N2 website? And from the survey responders, 41% access it quarterly, 27% access monthly, 17% rarely, 12% yearly, and 3% weekly. And then we asked how visually appealing is the website? So 30% felt it was very appealing, 64% somewhat appealing, and 6% not at all appealing. But most importantly, we're looking at, does it meet your needs? And the response really looked at 61% said somewhat, 32% very well, 6% not so well, 2% extremely well. And then looking at what pages of the website are most frequently accessed. And so 19% chose the resources, 18% access to N2 resources, 16% to events, and 14% for courses. Then we're looking at how easy it is to find things that you were looking for on the website. And 42% said somewhat easy, 31% very easy, and 15% not so easy. looking at understanding the information on the website, 54% said it was very easy, 28% somewhat easy, and 7% extremely easy. So it looks like that part we're doing, is doing well. So the ease of understanding the information that's on the website. We also looked at pay for annual membership fees. 21% said somewhat easy, 15% said very easy, 11% not so easy, and 3% not at all so easy. So things, gives us an idea of how that is working for our members. Then we're looking at how easy it is to register for courses offered through CITI. And overall, it looks, 37% felt very easy, 27% somewhat easy, 15% extremely easy, and 8% total not so easy or not at all easy. Registering for N2 webinars, 40% very easy, 25% somewhat easy, 15% extremely easy, and then about 7% not so easy or not at all easy. And as we just, sent a reminder or talked about a reminder about the N2 annual conference. So registering for it in the past, 40% said it was very easy, 28% somewhat easy, 10% extremely easy, and 13% not so easy or not at all easy. So looking at how easy it is to register for courses through CITI, this question and response really triggered a conversation about CITI fees for N2 and passing on these fees to members. So we review CITI administration charges to N2 based on member communication directly to CITI or N2 communication with CITI because of N2 members, and trying to determine how to best pass these fees on to member via administrative fees that become part of the base membership fees. And this particular slide looks at, were there any challenges when you navigated the N2 website? So things like login does not consistently work. There were, and again, challenges with login seems to be a theme. It's not easy to retrieve password. Box is challenging to navigate, and we've mentioned this earlier. Hard to find tools within Box. Paying annual fees is challenging, and links sometimes do not work. And one of the other challenges, there's no direct link to CITI from N2. And that's really looking at password resetting process. The person felt should be more automated, more scalable, efficient, and will alleviate Shelley from the unnecessary admin burden. So these are just some of the comments. It's a lot more, feedback from others, and we're certainly looking at all of them. And again, reviewing more challenges. Post previous webinars and presentations on the website. So to be able to have, looks like easier access. Hard to search N2 on Google. Need to scroll too much. Better navigation needed, and that might help with the need to scroll. Not intuitive, needs a refresh. More impactful images. Quick links to tools. Challenging to find items in the box. And so there's more questions, comments around that, and I'll leave that to you review later. So the next slide or two is talking about communications and how do our members currently receive their N2 communications. So the majority receive it through the newsletter, that's 45%. Through the N2 website, 12%, from other N2 members, 17%. So that networking part, which is great to see. And then social media. So we look at Twitter and Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn are other ways of getting information into communication. So the other thing we asked is the frequency of communication from N2 enough? And 79% said it was enough, 18% not enough, and 3% thought it was more than enough. And then looking at this communication, was it straightforward, considered straightforward? 97% felt yes. And we're always looking at how we can better communicate within our committees and within our group membership, and looking at is there an interest in a membership platform, for example, like Slack? And so 52% chose yes. And why we looked at this is that the concept of history and how much of this and conversations among the committee members are not captured or are lost because they are via email versus in a platform that N2 owns. So anyone who's on a committee or that, or not even with N2, with any other work, you know, things can get lost in email if you didn't file it properly. Try and find it again, because there might be great information. So we're looking at how we can best communicate with each other. And so again, looking at the burden for the new committee chairs and onboarding members to the committee, and something we need to certainly review and look at. Are there other communication channels for committee members that would facilitate onboarding? So some area of improvement needed. Okay. We're also looking at our relationships with non-members and asking our members if it's acceptable for N2 to expand opportunities provided to and relationships with non-member organizations. So things like sponsoring webinars for educational purpose, not for selling products, and 84% said yes. Advertising in N2 newsletters or other communications, and really confined to a specific section of the communication, 72% thought yes. And then partnering to provide access to new resources that may be benefit to members. For example, that might be offered to N2 member organizations at a discount, and 88% selected yes. We then asked, what are some other organizations that N2 should be engaging and for what purpose? So we just have a short list here of Health Canada, ACRP, SOCRA, Magi, CARA, CTO, Transcelerate, Avoca, and then looking also at our patient education groups. So our N2 members have not ruled out relationships with for-profit organizations. So should we consider developing a menu of potential options available to vendors and other organizations that approach N2 about possibilities to engage N2 members beyond exhibiting at the N2 annual conference? So things to consider. Okay, so that was a quick review of the survey. And now it's a chance to, we have time for any questions. If you could put them in the chat, and we'll try to answer the best we can. Okay. So while we're waiting for questions, just a reminder that the next couple slides are about contact. So if you have questions, who to best contact? Well, that was a lot of information in a short time period. So if you don't have questions at the moment and have come up with some later, please feel free to contact us.
Thank you, everybody. And I echo the same thing. Please reach out and ask questions if you want more information.